All right, so Koala seems to be a really nice app that you can use. There are many other apps that you can use for converting less and SASS. But this is seems like this is good because it works for Windows and Mac. But you will see that when you install it, especially for a Mac, I'm not sure how it would work on a PC. It doesn't open, it gives you an error message. So what you may have to do is you may have to go into the settings, go to privacy and security. And if you scroll down, you'll see how it says, okay, Koala was blocked because it was not from an identified developer. Well, okay, well, if you want to open it anyway, then you can just click on this. And then you have to, I'll do my Touch ID, and then it will then allow it to run. So you may have to go through that hurdle again, just because, yeah, just the way that Mac operating system works. Okay. So once it is installed and you drag it to the application, let me give you a demo on how it works. All right. So here's a little demo. I had created a folder called demo folder, and let me just put it somewhere. I just put it somewhere on a desktop that's easy. So just imagine here, I have a demo folder that I created. And within the demo folder, I have a simple index.html. And let's look at it. Okay, just a simple HTML, has a body, it has one section. Within the section, it has H1 and P. Within section, it also has an article. Within article, it has H2 and P. So notice some of the nesting structure here. And I don't have any CSS, but notice that I have a style_l.less file, which I'm hoping would convert to style_l.css by this tool. And then I have one for SASS. Okay, notice the extension. .less stands for less file. .scss stands for SASS. Okay, all right. So remember that the two most important features that I thought are needed for less and SASS is use of variables and then also using the nesting. So look at this. I create a variable in less. You create a variable using @ sign. So I created 4 variables here, and then I can use that variable like in the body or in the color, right? So instead of, if I change one thing, I can just change the variable here instead of going and looking for that everywhere and then replacing it, which could be done, but it's just kind of more neat and organized this way. I'm also nesting. Look at this. Section, within the section, I say H1, that's inside the section. Article, which is inside the section, and inside the article I have H2 and P, right? So I'm doing the nesting variable. In SASS, it's like the same thing. It allows nesting, also allows you to create a variable, but instead of creating the variable with the @ sign, I now create the variable using the @ sign. Okay? So once you have things like this, and again, you can copy and paste what I have or come up with some variations of it, then you basically would open Koala. And when you have Koala open like this, it will say drag and drop a folder. So notice that demo folder that I just created, okay? Or if you have that folder somewhere else, you can simply drag it. And what it will do is look for less and SASS and other files that it knows can be converted. And whenever I make some changes here, it's automatically going to generate a CSS file. Notice that this would automatically create style_l.css. This will automatically create style.s.css. Notice that I didn't name this file name the same because again, it's going to convert it to .css. And if I both have this as style.less and style.scss, both of them would create a style.css and it would override one another. I didn't want that, so I created a different file name before the file extension. Okay? All right, so now that is done, it automatically created this, which is really cool. But again, I can go here, I can change it. So for example, if I say style.less is red, I can save it. Koala would detect that the file was changed, automatically generate a new CSS file for me and create this. Isn't that cool? It did it for me automatically. Very, very cool. SASS, same thing. They would automatically get this and it would convert it to a CSS file. Koala did that all automatically. So now, if I want to link that file, what do? I can simply do, again, I'm using Sublime. You can use VS Code or other. And I can simply just load the CSS file that was generated using Koala. So let's do style_s.css. And when I do this, wow. And notice all I have to do is I can just go here and I can change it. So if I want this, let's say blue, I change it, I just save it, and Koala would automatically have generated a new CSS file. And there you go. Isn't that cool? Very, very cool, isn't it? And I already told you kind of how to do the two most important functions of less and SASS. So you don't even have to spend 2 hours, but again, okay, if you want to go a little bit more in depth, go and play with partials, mixins, and other things, just so that you know what those are. And again, later when you get leveled up, especially with the backend, mixins, partials, all those are concepts that you'll be much easier to understand because you will also have exposure on that on the server. So anyway, I like these tools like Koala that you can use. Normally, all these things can be done on the server end. And that's why when you look at the lesson SASS documentation, they will all tell you all these other ways of installing it. Like you can do npm install and use Node.js to do all of these. Yeah, or you can do these, but hey, you can just use Koala for now. I think that's much easier. And later when you learn the backend, then you can use the backend server or the framework to automatically convert less and SASS files to CSS file. But you can use Koala. And again, if you're just a front-end developer without doing any of the server setup, you can use something like Koala to automatically generate CSS and work directly with less and SASS file. So anyway, and then this less, of course, tells you some other advanced tools. Again, I think these are, I really use I really like the nesting and the variable features of less and SASS, so I think those are the most important. So focus on that, and the other things, you don't have to worry as much. But later, as you convert some of these into some of your old assignments and use less and SASS, not only makes your resume look cool, but you also get some more exposure, and you're getting better at indentations, and your CSS is becoming cleaner. So all of this should be very good experience for your learning and growth.